Hey honey, did you get my headboard done?
Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm going to get the job done.
Well, we're leaving in 4 days. I need it done.
Honey, it's under control. Trust me. Hi, this is Gary back with you from West Family RV Adventures. This Sunday morning, the first mod on my list from the lovely Andrea is to trim back this headboard. This is a 2021 17JG. We recently upgraded our memory foam mattress to 10 inches, and this is an RV size mattress, but even saying that, it's still a little bit snug up against the headboard, and when Andrea lifts it, it's kind of a struggle for her, getting ready to leave on a 31-day trip, and if I don't get this done, it's going to be a long 31 days. So if Mama's happy, everybody's happy. So let's get this thing rolling. So just using a standard Phillips screwdriver, I've already removed about 5 screws, and let's see if I can get a picture of where they are. You can see this little piece here. There's a hole right there. So this is just where all the screws need to come out. And I think I've removed about half of them. Some up here. There they are. So, as you can see, it's moving. So if I can get the rest of those screws out, I'm hoping that it'll just slide out nicely. Well, I can't quite get to the screws on this back side because the bed is in the way. So I think I'm going to have to lower the bed and pull the mattress up, and maybe I can reach those final screws from the top. I just pulled the bed out about a foot or so, and I was able to get in behind there, and I think I have the rest of the screws out. So let me see if I can pull this headboard out. Alright, so I was trying to pull it out from below the bed. I don't think that's going to work. I think I'm going to have to close the bed and pull it out through the top. Bingo! That worked. So I'll pull the rest of this out. So if you happen to be doing the same mod in your counting, it looks like I have 9 screws here that came out. That doesn't mean it'll be the same for you, but kind of give you an idea what you're looking for. So I've decided I need to take about 1.5 inches off this back side. One of the first things I did is where all the see if you can see this there, where all the screw holes are, I'm putting a little marker mark so that when I reinstall this bracing piece, I'll still have my holes lined up properly, so they'll go right back where they're supposed to when I fasten it back to the wolf pup. That's the plan anyway. Again, you can see all the magic marker marks. Hopefully you can see them. I made, wherever you see a magic marker mark, that's where a screw hole is. I've just started prying off one of these side caps with a screwdriver. You might be better off with a wider, like putty knife or something. This is very, very thin material. It's just attached with staples. But go ahead and be very, very gentle when you remove it. I've decided when I cut 1.5 inches off this, I'm going to take the 1.5 inches off the stapled side. I'll cut 1.5 inches off that side. Then I'll flip the board around, the end cap around, and I'll staple into fresh wood. So, because it's very fragile. Here's the second side piece, so if you just go very gentle, you can get it off. And again, I'm going to take my 1.5 inches off the stapled side. Little side thought, can you see the rain? Can you hear the rain? Yesterday afternoon's project was to replace our stock vent fan, ceiling vent fan that's in the bathroom with a Max Air 4000K vent fan. And I finished the lap sealant, the sealer, late in the afternoon. I'm not sure what time it started raining. It was in the middle of the night, but I sure hope that's set up properly. I hate to have to redo that one. So you can see when I pulled the side piece off, some of the staples remained inside the blocking, so you'll obviously want to make sure you check that out on your project and get those old staples out. And they pull out easy enough with a pair of needle nose pliers. So to remove this long blocking piece here, I started it with a putty knife, and then I'm just going to pry with a screwdriver all the way down gently. You might be better off with a pinch bar because it's wider, but I have no patience and I have no idea where I left my pinch bar. So you can see it's coming off nicely. Those long staples are staying in, and I'll have to use my needle nose pliers to pull all of those out, of course. Okay, successfully removed. Now I'll go ahead and take these staples out. Don't want to run those through the table saw. Just looking at all of the staples that are still in the blocking piece itself, I don't know if I can tap those out and still use this piece. It was already cracked at one end. Yeah, this one here, even before I took it off. I might have to rip my own piece. We'll see. So I'm getting ready to cut the side pieces, and I've got my table saw set to take 1.5 inches off. And I put some painter's tape around the stock because I'm going to try to keep down on the chipping on the finished side, I hope. Okay, my first cut is done. Let's take the painter's tape off and see what the finished side looks like. Looks like I'm all set. I guess that fake finish didn't flake off. So we'll go with the other side now. I might, in fact, be able to salvage this long piece without ripping another new piece, because I like the idea of being able to still use these holes as markers. I just took the I don't have my hammer in the RV with me, but I just took the side of this pair of pliers and banged on the end of one of these staples, and it looks like I'm going to be able to knock them back and pull them out. So I'm going to be lazy as always and try to reuse this piece. So I located my hammer and I was able to knock out all of these staples, and I'll just pull them out. We've got this one damaged piece. It's already damaged. I'll probably put a little wood glue on there and clamp that off. You know, sometimes things don't go as you planned. I started pulling out the staples up at the cracked end, and you can see what I got. Alright, so I guess we're going to have to rip a new piece. I'm getting ready to cut the headboard itself, and you're probably wondering why I'm going crazy with the painter's tape, you know, because along the cut line I don't want it to chip. But the reason why is I'm turning this upside down on the table saw, and I don't want to scar any of the finished side. So hopefully that'll prevent that. Alright, it's now or never. I'm going to need both hands, so I'm not going to be able to film this part. Actually, always check your setup more than once. I almost had a catastrophe and cut the wrong width. I had it set for the side pieces, but the headboard is wider. So be really careful when you're making your cuts. And we've got a small problem, Houston. The very end of the cut, this is the side that faces out in the RV, faces towards the center of the RV. My blade wasn't set high enough, so I'm going to try to cut that clean, that last piece, without tearing it with my little multi-mate. Wish me luck. I think, with a capital T, I think I got it. So I found a piece of pine up overhead. I'm going to rip this down to 3/4 inch wide, and we'll have some new stock here shortly. So I decided to clamp this new stock up and then use my square and mark where the holes, the pilot holes, should be drilled. And I think I'm going to drill them a little bit thicker. That way, if I'm not perfectly lined up, I should be fine. Okay, well, I've got my pilot holes all drilled out. Hopefully it'll keep this piece of pine stock from splitting when the screws go in it. Alright, I don't have my staple gun, so I'm going to go up to the hardware store and get some, I guess, manual staples to tack in there. There's a little wood glue too. So I've decided to put my screws back in advance of putting the headboard back in place. It's tight quarters in there and you can't really see. You're kind of putting them in and out by feel. So I thought I could just get the screws started. Might make my life a lot easier. So the staples that I picked up at the hardware were too long and thick. Would have split the wood and gone right out through the top. So I just went ahead with some small finish nails. I don't think they were too long, so hopefully that with the wood glue will allow that to set up firm enough. Now I'm going to put the side pieces on, try to staple those in. Put a little bit of glue on it. Small problem, my side piece is a little bit too wide. That might prevent the headboard from going tight against the wall. So, time to head down to the table saw. I definitely don't like the looks of that ugly staple. Thank God that's against the wall. So, just ran up to the hardware store and got some little tacks. Alright, well I got the side pieces on, and I had a little mishap with the hammerhead. And those little nails don't match as well as I thought, but maybe I can find a marker and clean up my sins. So I think I'm ready to move back out to the wolf pup and see if I can put this headboard back in place. Alright folks, it's the moment of truth. Let's see if we can get this headboard back in the wolf pup. Okay, well I've dropped it in. Looks like there's plenty of room. So now I'll lift the bed and start fastening screws. We have one screw in. I'm really glad that I had started those screws before I put the headboard in place. I think it's going to make it a lot easier. So there it is, folks. All reinstalled, the headboard. 1.5 inches taken off it, and I've made a mess of the nice bed that my wife had made, but hopefully she'll overlook that. So, moment of truth. Let's open it. Nothing obstructing, no grabbing. Beautiful. Thanks for watching.